Buddy, GSC Invitational, round one. I'm still recording some of the games. Hello, maybe you don't know me. I'm Cherry Bong, and this is one of the biggest tournaments involving GSC, in case you're not already familiar with it. It stands for Gold, Silver, Crystal, Overused. So, these players will duke it out in Generation 2. We have, on the bottom, Don Coco Carapinga, also known as Hellpowna, or Coco, and Choolio. Coco is a very recent player. He's actually specialized in DPP, but he came very close to snagging a victory in GSC Cup last year. Whereas on the other end, we have a veteran that has been around since like 2013, has retired at some point from GSC, and he's looking to come back and make a statement. We got newcomer versus veteran, but don't be fooled by how new of a player Coco is. Now, this is round one of a double elimination tournament. Before I begin, I just want you all to know that you can join the community through this Discord link in the description. You can make predictions, you can catch live games, and you can even share your hot takes on GSC and watch all of this discussion from many of the players. If you choose to donate, just know that 50% of the prize pool will be going to first place, 30% to second place, and 20% to the third player. All right, without further ado, I'm going to start this game. I'm sorry if it's a long intro, but it's also because this is I'm trying to launch a little campaign for this tour. I didn't manage to do a trailer, and I didn't even manage to do an introductory video, so I'm going to try and introduce the players that have not been seen yet. It's a best of 3. We do have WoW versus Smeargle. Snorlax lead, typically not too afraid of a Smeargle, but respects it nonetheless. Decides to go to Suicune. Coco goes to Suicune and uses Ice Beam, so it has Surf, Rest, Sleep Talk, and Ice Beam. Smeargle is a Spikes lead nowadays. It wasn't all too common. People back then in Choolio's time definitely used Smeargle for agility and baton pass, but there's no telling what this Smeargle is going to be doing. Snorlax from Coco's end has Curse. It should be able to withstand a double edge here and rest up. It's slower. It could also have taken out the Lax, but it would have come at the cost of its own life with double edge recoil. In comes Steelix, so Choolio not running your run-of-the-mill agility baton pass, so that Smeargle is definitely there for support. Many baton pass teams don't have a phaser. Well, the old agility baton pass, at least. Speaking of which, here is a Jolteon, also known for growth pass, not just baton pass. Coco has a very, very unusual team, and it's just getting more unusual as time moves on, with Suicune, Jolteon, and Blissey, and Lax. So far, we don't see a Machamp check. Making a double. I like it. As we do know that Snorlax is cursed Sleep Talk, so it doesn't have any other coverage moves with which to take care of the Steelix. And here's a Tentacruel to punish passive Pokemon. Goes for a Hydro Pump straight up. So it most likely is a moveset known as Druid Cruel with Swords Dance and Substitute and Sludge Bomb and Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump doing a lot to Skarmory, so even though it's immune to Toxic, it's going to take a lot from Hydro Pump. And this team from Coco is very odd. But I wouldn't count him out on matchup alone. Coco is known for bringing very unusual teams that I would otherwise consider very passive or just straight up bad. And he manages to find a way. He tried to counter, but of course Choolio is aware. He uses Substitute and basically baits out the counter. The Blissey is pretty much doomed. At the very least, Coco managed to break the sub, and he's going to try and use Whirlwind here, in all likelihood. That is the third Hydro Pump we see. Of course, Sludge Bomb dealing no damage to Steel types means the attack boosts from Swords Dance will not matter versus Skarmory. Jolteon coming in on the Zapdos goes for a Baton Pass to keep momentum. And it is a T-Wave Zapdos, so that was probably a good call to avoid the Jolteon from getting paralyzed. It's a glass cannon, so really its only redeeming quality aside from its special attack and electric typing is its speed. Jolteon coming back in. Is Coco going to Baton Pass again or just go for Hidden Power Water? No. The Iron Face stares down another Iron Face. Jolpek is going to do Diddly Squat to the Steelix. Looking like a really tough matchup right about now. With the Steelix and the Tentacruel. They have surprisingly good synergy. What with Steelix checking Electrics and Snorlax, and Tentacruel being able to punish a lot of passive Pokemon. I say that because it's deceptively bulky, it's really fast, and it has a quick setup move. It has mediocre attack, but it can increase its attack. Skarmory just chipping the Steelix. Keep on coming in, probably to Beta Boom. I mean, the trade-off is that if you go to Skarmory and Steelix somehow breaks the Skarm by explosion, unlikely, but if it were to happen, then Coco would have an opportunity to break through the Steelix. And finally, Dustin the Diamond, Starmie comes in, Rapid spins away, and gets boomed on for its troubles. That doesn't mean that spikes are gone permanently, but Coco has no spikes on his team, and he goes straight to Suicune, predicting a Fire Blast. But what is he going to do now? Honestly, the more I look at Choolio's team, the more I'm impressed by it. It's really making a lot out of the synergies here, offensively speaking. I should expect no less from someone who's seen it all, who's been around. Like, I'm just a zoomer when it comes to GSC. He's a boomer. Literally, he boomed on Starmie, and now he has a win path with his Tentacruel and the Marowak, forcing switches every time. What a neat team. I like it. I genuinely like it. Suicune. Coco's team is also neat, but a lot fishier matchup-wise. Now that Jolteon is paralyzed, there's not much it can do. But like I said, Coco knows how to work under pressure. He's surprisingly apt. Like, just, not even surprisingly, it's just, he's deceptively good at getting out of these situations. It's just that sometimes with these teams, it almost seems like he prefers these situations over other ones. And I can respect that. There is a trade-off for something like that. We do see the third move, Sacred Fire, the legendary move from Ho-Oh. I can't imagine the harshness it had to go through just to sketch that move from Ho-Oh. And Snorlax In the meantime, dealing a lot of damage to the Marowak. Curselax is one of the few mons that doesn't particularly care about Marowak with Swords Dance. I mean, I say doesn't particularly. It definitely cares, but it depends at what point it's at. At +1, it's already able to 2-hit KO it and survive a 3-hit KO. As Coco makes the prediction, and now there's a huge reversal. Like I said, you can never count this man out. And and with an electric, there is definitely a chance, a non-zero chance of making it back. The only issue is that Jolteon seems to be permanently paralyzed. And Tentacruel is impervious to Suicune. Rest. Lax is going to be key here. If it can set up a curse, it does not. Deal some damage here. Tentacruel's at +2. What's going to happen? +3. Choolio definitely calculated that he can survive another double edge, but he will not survive the next hit, no matter what. So Coco's going to prepare. Oh god, no, a crit. Oh shit. Takes out the Tentacruel, but now he's in range from Zapdos. Should he stay in here? Does not dodge the Thunder. And would not have survived a T-Bolt. Maybe, just maybe, it would have been a good idea to switch out. Jolteon has Rest. And? Oh god, Present. Present is one of the deadliest moves towards special attackers, except for Zapdos. Suicune dealing damage. This Zapdos doesn't have Rest, so he could have survived. I don't know. I don't know about it. Skarmory isn't all too useful, but at the very least, it could switch into Present. Dealing some nice chip damage. It's just ever closer to taking out the Zapdos. Stays in. Of course, there was nothing for it to wall at this point anyways. Giving Jolteon a free switch in here. But it still has 2 turns to finish the rest. And Present is extremely deadly. It has the power to deal damage based off of not the defense of the target or the attack of the user, but on the typing of the target. Coco Carapinga manages to take out the Zapdos. I will explain the mechanics of Present in a moment, but just know that it can deal 40 base power, 80 base power, 100 base power, 120, and it can crit too, or it can heal. Also, it has accuracy. So, that looks like an 80 base power move. The last one, there's no telling. It definitely had to have been at least 80. And Jolteon gets put to sleep here. Oh god. He's got to burn a bunch of turns, but Present. Wow. Smeargle manages to take out 2 Mons. When on Earth? I've seen Present before. In fact, I've seen it in GSC Invitational 1. And if I'm not mistaken, Gorgie used it. But when has anyone seen a Smeargle sweep in GSC? In this area, in this continent? On to the next game then. We'll see if it fares better for the Italian player Coco. Morecita. Goes for a Thief, gets paralyzed by Choolio's Zapdos. Putting a Jinx immediately out of commission. Because a paralyzed Jinx is pretty much a dead Jinx. Interesting of Choolio to stay in on the Nidoking. Looks like he feels confident he can handle this Snorlax. Goes for Toxic first. Is likely to follow up with Spikes. We'll see. Yeah. Coco prioritizing damage here. I can only imagine that he might switch to something like Gengar. Yep. Choolio, interestingly enough, decides to keep Cloyster alive for later, rather than just click Surf. And he's going to bring in the Raikou. Raikou is looking mighty fine in this matchup right now, with Nidoking already having taken some damage. That's why he decided to stay in that turn. He knows he can rest off the HP, the damage taken. And that kind of puts Coco in a really tough spot with this double Thief team. Or triple. Looks like it might be triple Thief. It's double Thief. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking. Zapdos goes for Hidden Power. Stays in another turn. Gets hit by Thunder, which it can get 3-hit KO'd by. And Choolio revealing another interesting team. Double Ground. And just as I say that, his team, Coco's team, is really exposed to ground all of a sudden with Zapdos gone. Every time Marowak comes... Oh my god, 2 crits in a row. That's not fair. Coco says, come on, man. He can't use this Cloyster to check Lax and the 2 grounds. It's just going to get overloaded. So he has to decide... Will he boom? Choolio just brings in the Marowak. Coco making a good prediction here. He's going to need to make a couple more. There's one. Choolio likely... No, Okay, there's a counter. All right. But nice double. Why don't I do that more? Damn, that was good. Okay, there's another. And Gengar did not take away leftovers from Cloyster. The reason is because it was knocked out. Raikou. Jinx appears not to have taken leftovers either, which is strange. Hang on a sec. We'll get back to this real quick. Just going to turn 1 to see what it says. And Thief. Oh, and then it says in Gen 2, moves with a 100% secondary effect chance will not trigger 1 out of 256 times. So the 1 in 256 glitch happens in GSC as well as in RBY. But it's different for GSC. It doesn't apply to accuracy. It applies to moves with a 100% chance of the secondary effect happening. So they essentially just fixed it and then unfixed it. Jinx, putting the Raikou to sleep, that's what he needs right now. He needs a miracle. And more turns like this. Goes for the Thief. Now he does manage to take away the leftovers. 3rd time's the charm. Alright. Hidden Power. More turns like this, please, says Coco in his head. Alright. Can he get a freeze? No. Alright. Wow. It looks like Jinx managed to not full para. Oh, Drill Peck. Wow. Choolio really is a man of different times. I'm not sure I like this team as much as the earlier one. But he does take out the Cloyster, and Nidoking is going to go down to Hidden Power. Right on doing not much, but not mattering. Nice job, Choolio. What a game. And what a sweep from Smeargle game 1. That was incredible. This is the kind of debut that we're looking for from a veteran. You know, the return. It's not really, doesn't really make much sense to say debut, but you know what I mean. It's been so long, and it's good to have him back. All right, folks. Take care.